You were tuned in to G5JeffTv. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button as you come on in. I got two very special guests, family of mine from out of Iowa, Tristan Tree James and Coach Pepe Pena coming off of a huge victory on May 22nd. What's going on, fellas?
Yeah, just chilling. Just got off work. Chilling, bro.
How you doing, Coach?
Some homework, you know how it goes.
Yeah.
I hear that. Huge victory for you, Tree. I know we kind of talked off camera, but you went up against Kenneth Allen. He was 6-0, 5 knockouts. Going into the fight, you were 3-3 with 1 draw. How much do you feel like they just underestimated you going into the fight?
They underestimated me all the way, like completely. They underestimated me so bad. They already had it. I don't want to say the promoter, but I almost want to say like everyone there, like they all had it set up like, okay, the red side is the A side, and you know how that goes, A side, B side. They got it set up where A side, everybody A side is gonna win, no matter what. They're gonna win. B side, most of the guys they're supposed to win.
Mm-hmm.
We weren't having that. We were down there to lose.
No, there was no losing. Losing was totally out of the category. I wasn't even thinking about losing. I was just thinking about, am I going to perform to the way I want to perform? I did that.
Coach, did you have any film on Kenneth Sims prior to the fight?
Not really, man. We just trusted what we seen at weigh-ins. We knew he was gonna come out throwing heavy. We had a little clip of him, but the funny thing was the clip we had, he was orthodox, and he came out southpaw. So I'm like, okay, Tree, you start southpaw. Anyway, when we first started, we thought he was orthodox. I said, you're gonna start southpaw. You're gonna start southpaw, and you're gonna see what happens. Pretty distance. Then he came out southpaw too. I'm like, okay. So then as it kept going, he never changed. And we made the change. I mean, I'm gonna switch up ortho. We're switching back and forth. We had him confused the whole time. He didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to do. He was too quick for him. She was too quick for him. She was too much power for him, I think, because I was hearing the thuds. I was hearing the boom and the and the. You know what I mean? And he's throwing hard, but Tree had his distance so good, he wasn't taking any real damage at all.
Coach, it's interesting that you said that, because for the people that don't know, that's watching this, I did a whole interview with Tree months ago. I did an interview with Coach months ago. We spoke on this. Coach, you said that Tree is able to fight orthodox and he's able to fight southpaw, and you said we got to stop posting shit on social media. I honestly think that he came out southpaw because he seen some old tape and thought that was going to be beneficial, but he didn't know that Tree can fight orthodox and southpaw. And I think when he seen the switching from orthodox to southpaw, I think he kind of he didn't know what to do. You think that's the case, Coach?
Yeah, I think so too. He just didn't know what to do. He didn't, like I said, I don't know the guys here fighting, how they look, but I knew what Tree was going to bring to the table. And it was that jab, he was just popping with that jab. The orthodox jab was just working him. When he stepped to that left, pop, pop, pop. He was just working the dude. The dude just didn't know what to do. When the bottom came to it, he didn't know what to do with that. Pretty much. Speed and had power behind it.
Hey, Tree, in the first round, did you have a pretty good feel for what he was trying to do offensively? To me, it looked like it was wide shots versus your straight shots. Did you get that sense?
Yeah, that's what I was kind of doing. I was kind of feeling him out, trying to see what he was going to do, and I knew he might either graze me or catch me with that overhand, because I knew that was his biggest shot. I was just pretty much just seeing where I needed to be and where I needed to cut the corner and dodge, or where I needed to brace when he threw the overhand, because I knew that's all he was going to do. It's going to be all loopy. He was going to come in wild. That's all it was. I was just dissecting him, figuring him out in the first round.
From a technical standpoint, as far as like the game plan, Tree, watching the fight, it looked like it looked like you guys trained for the overhand shots because you were doing a lot of this, like the phone defense. Just put your hand up to your ear and you're gonna catch most of those shots. Did y'all work on that in camp?
Yeah,
for sure.
all the time.
Even the funny thing about it, I think it was early first or second round. So you hit him with a double jab, on the orthodox side, in a right uppercut, and I'm like, yeah. And the dude looked at me all kind of crazy and stuff. I'm like, okay, we're gonna hit you with that. Hit you with that later on the road.
Yeah.
With that same double jab, stepped into that side to side uppercut. Never. It was just we worked on a lot of that. I had a lot of my amateur guys that were a little bit bigger guys. Just Tree couldn't hit them. Tree just had to work. They come in trying to take Tree's head off. It's not like not for them as that's how I want them to fight. They were mocking the other guy just trying to come in and wing some shots at Tree and trying to hit him. Tree, working on his defense and stuff the whole time.
Right. Tree, the fact that you can fight orthodox and southpaw, how important, just making that transition, how important was it for you to make the transition from orthodox to southpaw or southpaw to orthodox and not have to stop moving? Like, you don't have to reset. You can kind of be in the pocket, and if you're southpaw, you can switch to orthodox and still be in range to work. Like, how important was that for you in this fight?
It was really important. Like, I didn't even realize that. Like he said, when we was in southpaw, I didn't realize he was southpaw. But what I do is like, I've noticed, like, if my jab, my southpaw, so if my right hand jab ain't working the way I want to, I'll switch to orthodox, because for some odd reason my orthodox jab is stronger than my right hand jab. I don't understand. Even when I'm like when I'm flexing right here, not the bragger thing. When I'm flexing right here, this part of my arm is like strong, but when I do this one, it's not the same. This one is stronger than this one. I don't get it.
Hey, you gotta.
We gonna stick. Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's what my guy.
Absolutely, that's a fact. And you know what? I didn't realize the whole southpaw thing, orthodox thing with Kenny Allen until after the first round. Like, Coach, when you posted the fight, I watched the first round and I was like, after the first bell rung, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, ain't he orthodox? And it didn't hit me until the end of the first round. Coach, when did you recognize it? Like, first recognize it? Did you recognize it during the first round?
Right when he walked out of his corner. Right when he walked out of his corner. I said, he's southpaw, but we already had the game plan to start southpaw. Yeah. So we was going to stick to that regardless. Yeah. And then we just built off that, of what he was doing. So then it went to, okay, he's staying southpaw. Now you're going to work orthodox. We're going to work on this side, the side to side, stepping around to his left and hitting off your angles, which he was doing. And the guy just didn't know what to do with it. That was just the bottom line. He didn't know what to do with the punch he was getting hit with.
This question is kind of a funny one, but I'm like dead serious with it. I know a lot of people, when they come to a weigh-in, they have different perceptions based on how the guy's body look. I seen pictures of the weigh-in and I had my own perceptions. Seeing your opponent at the weigh-in, Kenny Allen, did you have any thoughts of like, hey, I'm gonna bang that body? Because that was the first thing I was thinking, because he looked kind of soft. He looked soft.
Yeah, his body definitely his body definitely was very soft. Like, you could tell he hadn't been working out. You know what I'm saying? He put his game face on, for the just air down and stuff.
He didn't fight serious.
No.
And that's one thing we talked about when we got to the ring. Got to the room. I said, his body looked way stronger. Like in that tape we had, we watched rip cut. He didn't take this. He didn't take this fight lightly. He's taking it lightly. He didn't work hard. If he worked hard, he won't look like that.
He literally thought I was one of the Hispanic people in Mexico. He just gonna buy him a quick little $500 fight. Dude gonna go in there. He gonna hit him. He gonna take a fall. I'm gonna be 7-0. No, I'm not going, bro. No.
And the thing that.
Bit of both put on him. We got a little bit of Muhammad Ali put on him, and a little bit of Chavez put on him.
Hey, he did though. He did. Hey, G5, I didn't even realize that. I need to go on there. Like when I hit him with the whack, I didn't even realize that. That's the Ali move. Like I didn't even realize until after
yeah.
like
And
whoa.
that's the shot you knocked him out with, actually.
Because
That same combo.
didn't notice he did us a favor. He for some reason he turned orthodox for a second and tried to do this, and then that's when Tree hit him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, maybe that's
And
why he's orthodox.
and coach and Tree so tall, he ain't had to do nothing but just throw it like a dip, like yeah, yeah.
Like, what is he doing?
I'm like, yeah, with all of that side to side movement, I'm like, you literally giving the taller guy the target.
Yeah.
You literally giving them the target. And for because I'm probably gonna interview Kenny Allen at some point because he cool with my people. So when we said he looked soft, during the weigh-in, it's compared to how we've seen you previously.
Yeah.
So it's definitely not a knock. But when you go into a weigh-in, you see a guy look soft to the body, quite naturally, you're gonna go to the body. And I think that's what actually changed the tide of the fight. The jabs was working, but when you start going to that body, you could just see the power just go like this. He just start draining.
And you get a lot of people saying, "Oh, you could check him out." No, he was a dangerous guy. Why would we go in there and go all crazy?
Yeah.
We said we talked once we found out about the fight, and we didn't post anything about it because we didn't want to jinx it. So once we got on that plane, it was no, we was going down in the wind. That's all we talked about, leading all the way from that flight Thursday night, flying all throughout the night to the next day, not going to bed till later on that night on Friday night. That's all we talked about was winning. There was no one time we did not talk about losing that fight at all.
I'm glad you said that because this I want to really get into this. And Tree, you talked about this off camera, but I want you to talk about it on camera because I think people need to hear this. When you're quote unquote the B side, the guy in the B side corner on the card, there's a lot of BS that goes on behind the scenes leading up to the fight that really stacks the cards against the quote unquote B side, the guy that's supposed to lose. Can you give us a little bit of insight on some of the things you and coach had to go through going into that fight?
Let's start with the his publicist. And his publicist, you would think like his publicist is somebody that's like well known and out there. No, it's his fiance. His fiance booked our flights. She booked our flights. When she booked our flights, she didn't book us. She didn't have us going in like flying in the day of the weigh-in. She had us flying in the night before the weigh-ins at 8 o'clock at night. We get a layover in Denver. We get there at 11 o'clock. We're sitting there for 3 hours. We get back on the plane at 2 in the morning. Then we fly all the way to South Carolina. We get to South Carolina at 6:35. We get to the hotel that was quote unquote supposedly supposed to be at, and it isn't, which is the Red Roof. But all the boxes is at the Hamptons. So we're like, all right, cool, whatever. We used to hood hotels. We don't care. We from the streets anyway. It's cool. We get there. They don't even have us reserved in the hotel at all. We can't find his name, nothing. So coach is sitting in a chair like this that we're sitting in. I'm laying down on the ground put my head on the back. We're tired. We just worked all day the day before. We just got on the plane. Tired. We're sleeping. Finally, I'm like, you know what? Screw this. I calling around. I get a hold of the promoter, trying to get a hold of the dude that pulled the string fight. Nobody's getting a hold of me. So then we finally figure out where all the boxers is at, and it's at the Hamptons. So I'm like, all right, screw this. Uber all the way to the Hamptons to figure out what's going on. The promoter ended up calling us saying that, yeah, you guys aren't booked here. They got you booked at the Red Roof Inn. That's when he explained to us that they're the ones that booked the flights, booked the hotel. I'm like, oh, so that's why this is all this crazy stuff is going on. Because normally it's the promoter doing that. From the previous fights that I've had in the past, the promoter is the one doing all the booking, all that extra stuff. So we're like, all right, cool, whatever. We go back to the Red Roof. He goes in there. He goes through the same thing that we're going through. He can't find us in the reserve. We can't find our name. So he's like, you know what? Screw it. They're going to eat the bill. We're going back to them. So we go back to them. So then we end up going to the weigh-ins. Went back to the hotel room. We finally get to go to sleep. Finally. Guess what? 4 o'clock in the morning, the fire alarm goes off. know what I say? This bitch ass nigga is going to. He gonna pull. He gonna pay for that shit.
Every time something happens, G, I look at me. I said, "Mark that one down. We're taking that one out on him.
Yeah,
taking the fire out, taking the hotel on him. We're taking the fire alarm out on him. Everything we put on him. So we have taken out on him today. That's the mindset we had in this thing. This is what's going to happen. And I told him this the day of the fight. I said, "You've already Muhammad Ali hit. That's what you're going to do. You don't look like Muhammad Ali out there." And he went out there. And he looked like him a little bit at the end. Just pop, boom. At the end, there it was. Finished on the case. It was. And like I said, I told him, I said, "Man, we both went away from our families. We're jumping on planes over the West Coast back to the East Coast. You know what I mean? That's just another." You know, that the plane makes it, you know what I mean? That's 2 extra trips, you know what I mean? So we're putting all this, that's the fuel on the fire, man. I said, that stuff right there, we're not losing this fight. I don't give a damn. I don't care. I'm going to tell you what, G. This is how bad the energy was on the blue side. When I was grabbing this guy's hand, it was so bad, we jumped the hell out of the locker room. We went and sat out on the floor. The energy was so bad. We didn't want to be. I didn't want to touch anything. I didn't take any scissors because of the fight. So this guy's like, I am not touching your scissors, guys. And I said, someone else got scissors over here. I'm not trying to touch those scissors with a bunch of bad energy on it. That's how we were looking at it. We didn't want no bad in this fight. We wanted to win this fight. We've been waiting so long for this fight. We wasn't losing.
You know what, Coach? It's funny because I talked to Tree the night before the fight. Now you was asleep. Now whether you was snoring or not, we not gonna get into all that. But but listen, it's funny because Tree told me that same story about everything that was going on, the hotels, the flight, things like that. And I said the same thing. I said, bro, you're gonna have to whip his ass, right? I said, you're gonna have to. Because I said for everything that happened, you're gonna have to put it on him a little bit extra. So it's funny that you guys are able to actually tell that story. And people that watch boxing, they don't really see what goes on behind the scenes, like letting your opponent's wife book the opponent's flight and hotel, like that's gonna end bad anyway. Like I don't even know how the promoter even allows that. From a business standpoint, that's not even common. Am I correct, Coach?
Oh, it's not.
That's the first time I heard about it.
That's not common at all. Even the promoter himself, he was kind of getting annoyed with the guy. He said this guy is walking around cocky. So he asked him a question. He's like, "I'll go talk to my publicist about it." Like, how big this guy thought he was. He thought he was Bud Crawford, and Bud don't even do shit like that.
Bro, I don't know how you 6-0 with 5 knockouts and you have a publicist. I don't.
Come on, like. You got to work hard, man. You got to work hard for something like that. I'm talking about hard.
Like that's crazy. Like
put how can I say this? I guess he's trying to make a name for himself, so that will be another outlet. No, he's big. He got a publicist. No, bro, no. She sure can.
That's a fact. Because if I tell you I got a publicist, if I tell you to call my publicist, Tree, when you call the phone number, I'ma answer it. I'm my own publicist. Like I can't afford a publicist. Like it's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Tree, how did it feel just getting your first knockout, bro?
Oh my gosh, you just don't even know. It was still it was so I forgot to say things on the camera. I forgot to say things. I forgot to say intelligent outsider with ambition. That's what Iowa stands for. I forgot to say it because I was so geeked. I was so happy. I was tweaking in there, boy. I was up all day. I was ready.
You see us on my live feed right after the fight. We was turned up.
We was turned up. He was like, "Get dressed." I said, "No, I ain't getting dressed. I don't even care." No, I don't care.
My whole uniform on. Boxing. Let's go.
Yo, that's crazy. And the thing that's crazy, like Kenny Sims was like, I'm sorry, Kenny Sims, Kenny Allen. The thing that was crazy, like before the knockout, he was a zombie, bro. He was a zombie inside of there. Like coach, going into that last round and you seen how he was moving. Like, were you telling Tree like, yo, like go for the knockout, like get him up out of there?
After the fourth round, when Tree went in there and started doing all this bullshit that I don't like, out at him after the ring, and then I yelled at him in the corner. I said,
yeah, he did.
Okay, after that fourth round, he sat down. I said, his power is gone. His power is gone, but we still got to be cautious. And now we need to start working harder. We need to start working harder. We came all the way down here, Tree. I said, when we started this fight, I was the only one clapping for you. You're winning over fans. Listen to all these down. Listen to all of them. His eyes just got like this.
Mm-hmm.
Work started. The big time work started. And that's when he started wearing them down. And then in the fifth round, he had him over in the corner. He started hitting him with the body shot. I think he hit him with the uppercut. And I told Tree, you're taking this soul, Tree, take his soul. I was talking shit. I didn't hear him. I was so thing was, I was talking so much, everyone could hear me because no one was cheering for Tree. You know what I mean? So I'm telling him all this stuff, and Tree just working on that. I said, man, I said, this is it, 6th round. Let's go out and let's get him, man. Just take it, put it all in there, and you're good. And he did. That's what it was.
Just curious. Did they let you guys know how they had it on the scorecards going into the 6th round? Did you see the official scorecards?
No, we didn't ask, but in my mind, he had knocked Tree out.
Go back to YouTube too. The commentators, they said it too. They said Kenneth is going to have to get, in one round, they said he's going to have to get at least a knockdown or 2 knockdowns, or when later on, like 5th round or 4th round, they was like, he's going to have to knock him out.
He wasn't hitting Tree. Tree was hitting him with the cleaner shots every round. There's no, if they did have him behind in the scorecards, them guys shouldn't be scoring.
Yeah, I didn't watching the fight. I didn't, to be honest with you. The first round was kind of like a fill out round until maybe like the last like 45 seconds. Yeah. So if you want to give him something, maybe the first, but I'm like, really outside of that, I didn't give him anything else. And that's just, and again, I'm going to talk to him. Like, so, and that's no knock. I just, with my eyes see when I watch a fight, like that's just what it is, at the end of the day. But I am curious to see what their scorecards were, because if the energy was that bad in the locker room to where y'all stood out on the floor, I'm wondering if the judges knew what time it was and was just like, you know what, we gonna make sure nobody from that side is gonna win. And that's why I asked that question, because judges are so fickle.
And like I always tell them, at the end of the day, I tell my amateurs this too. I said, you can't let a judge take the fight if you go out and stop them or knock them out. They can't take anything from you.
Right. That's 100% facts.
You're right about the judging, like as far as like judges being kind of crooked sometimes, because that they rendered the decision wrong. Like a promoter out in Minnesota, when I put my ranking up on Facebook, when I put that all up, he went on Box Record. He seen that they had the decision wrong. They had me suspended for 30 days and had Kenneth suspended for 7 days, because regardless of how long your fight lasts, I guess in South Carolina, you're suspended for 7 days, no matter what, a week. You can't fight for 7 days. But they had him winning and had me losing.
And that wasn't a mistake or an error. They had that preset.
That's what I'm saying. Because I'm like, nah, man, that don't make no sense. But I was like, as long as y'all fix it, man, we cool. And if we had to go further than that, I'll pull up the footage.
The way he fell out. Yeah, the way he fell. It was like he fell out from the shot. He fell out from the fatigue. He fell out from the body shots. Like, that was one of them type of knockouts where it's just like, that's somebody that's completely done from every level.
Yeah.
He ran out of everything.
Yeah. Oh, there was
everything.
I don't watch the fight like 10 times. I'm still watching the fight. I'll probably go home and watch it again, but I seen it. Like, as soon as I put that uppercut and he hit the ground and he looked up, I was like, yeah, he ain't getting up. Because like y'all said, he was trained.
He hit the ground and I just seen a big sigh. He just took like one last. Now I was like, this is it. I stood up, hit the mat. Told you he was taking his O. I knew he was taking his O.
Yeah.
That was the main thing going into this fight. We taking this dude's O, regardless of what happened. Regardless. We taking his O. Yeah. And that kept telling that I kept telling Tree that. We talked about like this. We were together for them a couple of days. Like, right? We didn't go anywhere. We were with each other
the whole time.
That's all we talked about.
That's the first time we didn't ever bonded like that. We was there all day, every day.
If you go into a fight doubting your fight or worried about what this guy is doing, you're already one round down. That's what I right now. I don't care who you fighting. I don't care if he won a national championship last year. You got to go in and fight. If you worried about that, you're already one round down.
Yeah. Has Kenneth Allen asked for a rematch?
He did. He asked for a rematch. Like when I went back there to show him a little bit of love, you know what I'm saying, after the fights, he asked for a rematch. At that time, I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Ooh, whatever. And then later on that night, his publicist, she came and she was like, yeah, what's your contact information? She said, and I gave her my phone number. And then, like, not even 2 or 3 days after that, they contacted me again asking for a rematch. And then just a couple of days ago, Billy said the same thing. Like, yeah, they wanted a rematch. And I just told him, I was like, hey, there's no point. There's really no point at this point in time. Like, I think he went from, I don't know what, he's 36. He's number 36 right now. So if I fought him, it's not going to boost me up any. It's not going to do anything for me, and I'm in the part of trying to advance and go for a world title, you know what I'm saying? Get those big money fights, not draw myself down. And I feel like that'll just take me down if I fight him again.
If it would have went his way, we asked for a rematch, we wouldn't have got no rematch.
No, hell no. He would have been 7-0. In his mind, it would have been a knockout. No. I wasn't getting no rematch. And then it would have made my stock fall even further down. So then they're using me as an opponent. Because I know once you this is how dirty the game is. Once you get to so many losses, they start looking at you a stepping stone. I'm not going to be no one stepping stone.
Right. Have you got contacted about a fight coming up?
I done got contacted about like 3 fights. They want, I think, Alvin Davey from Florida. I know him from Golden Gloves. Craig Parker, we're actually trying to, we're in works of trying to fight him. He's another South Carolina. He's from Rock Hill. Go check him out, G5. We just got done watching tape on him a little bit ago. It's pretty much similar to what we just seen. Dude is just a lot bigger.
Right.
He's just bigger. He's just real big, just big and burly. And we already got the game plan for that already. We already done talked about the game plan. So if that goes through, we're just looking for us in August.
August possible return, South Carolina.
Yep.
In his hometown.
Hey, it don't matter if he don't make it to the final build.
And I told the promoter too, since he is the ABF, the American Boxing Federation West Cruiserweight. I said I want his title. I want the title shot. Period.
Yeah, it's so crazy to hear this because Tree, when I talked to you months ago, Coach, when I talked to you months ago, there were, somebody from Top Rank, y'all was supposed to fight, they turned it down. Somebody from PBC was supposed to fight Tree, turned it down. So how good does it feel to get a victory like this and actually have your phone ringing 4 fights?
Hey, it feels great. It's actually kind of funny because literally when I went to the rankings, because I'm going on the rankings every day, scrolling up and down, looking. A few of those dudes that denied me tell me why I'm ahead of them now. I'm ahead of them. Like the Tristan Caltruth, I'm ahead of him now. Who else? I can't remember. It was a few other guys, but a lot of those dudes that were saying no to me and just wasn't trying to show no love or nothing like that, I passed them.
And the thing about some of these other guys, but I noticed the ones who turned us down, or turned Tree down, when they're throwing at him, the other guys don't throw back. He's going to throw back at your ass. He ain't going to just sit there and let you wing on him like that.
Yeah, and that's the one thing about cruiserweight, Coach. Usually it's kind of like the ebb and flow is kind of like my turn, your turn, my turn.
Hell no.
You don't find many guys actually throwing with guys. And I know if you watch Tree, as far as sparring and things like that, like when he's sparring guys, he's throwing with guys, and you rarely see that at the heavier weight classes. How important is that for you, Coach, to see that with Tree actually going into a fight, because he gives himself a chance in every single fight because he's willing to punch with a guy. How important is that for you, Coach?
It's real important. Like we're getting kind of to a point where I can just say a certain something. I ain't gonna give away all my little tricks and traits and stuff, but I can say a little something, and he knows exactly what I'm talking about, exactly where I need him to be, and what to throw off that. Just a little this, a little that, and it's getting that way. And like I said, we're starting to get some better sparring now. So now when he's sparring, I'm talking to him just like we're in the fights. And it's just like he comes back to the round, every round, just like in the middle of a fight. Here, how are we going to do it? We're going to take these sparring sessions as their fights. There's no reason why you cannot work that guy. There's no reason why. It's just, do you see how this is working? Do you see how that's working?
Mm-hmm.
Don't get away from that.
Yeah.
And like we just had a sparring session, he got away from it. And I'm like, no. Don't do that. Stick to what you were doing because that's what was working. I know if he's a sparring partner, and then you guys they're not like knock each other out. They're working with each other, but still keep working on stuff that's working compared to going to the other side, and then the other guy's starting to do a little something with you. No, go back, stay that way until something changes. And like I said, if you keep hitting him over and over something, keep throwing it until he adjusts, and then we're going to come back with something else, and then we go right back and catch him with that same stuff later on, like we did to a boy.
Yeah, and that's real important. It's really, really important when you, especially at cruiserweight. The fact that you can switch stances, the fact that you can jab from both stances, and the fact that you can actually switch, you can transition from southpaw to orthodox to southpaw, and you're doing it in a smooth manner. You can't take that for granted, because Terrence Crawford might be the best switch hitter in the sport. A lot of people will say that. But if you actually pay attention to Terrence Crawford, he doesn't have a lot of success orthodox. All of his success is from the southpaw stance. So the fact that you have success from the orthodox stance and the southpaw stance, that shouldn't be taken for granted. Period. It's not a lot of switch hitters in the sport. So the fact that you've worked on your game and you're able to fight a guy southpaw, you're able to fight a guy orthodox, and you don't lose the skill level. You don't lose any ability of what you can do offensively and defensively out of each stance. Like, that's a credit to you, and that's a credit to coach, because it's not a lot of people that can do that.
Thank you.
Yep. And we even had a coach, tell us that just the other day. He was in here, like they couldn't believe how his orthodox jab was just like that. And they was asking us what pretty much what we did, how we got it like that. We just said,
right,
we worked on it. Keep working and keep working and keep working and keep
working.
A
whole year. I couldn't even switch southpaw. He literally made me stay orthodox. And you know how people don't realize that when you're trained to do one stance your whole entire career for almost 12 years, and then out of nowhere you switch. It's weird. It's like funny. It felt weird. It felt weird.
I knew that the orthodox, to me, that's where you can wear someone down on that side. And
yeah.
That's where you got his knockout was from the orthodox side.
First knockout.
Yeah. And I gotta give Coach, I gotta give credit to the state of Iowa. Now, I know, I've been chatting with you guys for pretty much over a year, and Iowa's not really one of the states to get the recognition that they deserve. But I have to say that you guys are on a pretty good hot streak right now. Tree, you got your victory on the 22nd against a guy that was 6-0, 5 knockouts. Another guy from out of Iowa, Robert Calvin, he got a knockout victory in his first professional fight. Cruz Hitman Stewart, he signed with Salida Promotions. T Woods just got a victory a couple weeks ago. That was a dog fight. We got an exciting card coming up with Chino. That's my guy right there, Chino Hill. He's in a step-up fight coming up. We got Lance Lay him down, Williams, and he's in a fight coming up, so against Jason Phillips. how good does it feel to be one of the top guys that's finally getting some recognition in your state off of this big victory?
All I can say is, like Birdman said, put some respect on my name. I would
Absolutely.
not be taken lightly, man. I told him, yeah, for a long time, I ain't gonna lie, I was doubting myself because I couldn't get a fight. Like, do I still got it? Do I still got it? But when I went in there, I took that fight and I won and I knocked that dude out. I said, boy, you got it. And now they gotta respect you. They ain't got a choice. Yeah, you know you're gonna get people that ain't gonna respect me because there's always gonna be haters. You know, that's cool. Whatever, that's the game. But
Right.
they gonna respect my name now. They ain't got no choice. They ain't got no choice. Just
And
wait till
it's
the next KO is gonna be even worse. It's gonna be more of it.
and
I
it
G,
go ahead, coach.
like I told Tree, I said, you're an older cat now, man. We can't lose.
Nope.
You can't lose it.
Mm-hmm.
If you want that world title, you cannot lose anymore. And we're going to work hard. We're going to work hard every day so you don't lose anymore.
So if you can get a fight in August, is it realistic that you could possibly get maybe one more fight by the end of the year if it goes well in August?
Yeah, yeah. We're down here in the works of trying to get something, get a pro fight down here. We're trying to get it down here in Des Moines because we've said this many times. We told everyone, we're like, man, if anyone would back us, figure out a way to get something here, I will sell the place out. I have so much fan base down here in Des Moines. It's ridiculous. It's insane. But I guess when it happens, man, we'll just have to show everybody. No one believes in the dream until they see it.
Well, they definitely seen a glimpse of it on the 22nd. You take a guy that's 6-0, 5 knockouts, and the fact that and it's funny, and let me tell this part of the story. Coach, you may not even know this, but a friend of mine that lives in Texas, he knew the opponent that y'all fought. And this is prior to the fight. So I told Tree this like a couple weeks before the fight. I said, yeah, I said, my homie, I said, that's his people's. So I was supposed to interview Tree. I was supposed to interview the other guy. And I had intel on what was going on. And I said, you know what? That's my homie's people. I'm not going to interview neither one of them until afterwards or whatever. But I heard things going into the fight. And I was just like, I said, if he's thinking he's just going to just swing one shot and just knock Tree out, I'm like, he going to be in for a long night. He's going to be in for a really, really long night. And that ended up being the case. And it's a small world. It's a small world. The fight was in South Carolina. You guys are in Iowa. They're in Texas. And I'm the person that knows everybody, like in between. So I knew, but I didn't want to call you, Tree, and say, hey, I heard this, I heard that, out of respect for my homie.
I didn't want to know. That was perfect. That was I kind of, when you first told me, it kind of had me itching a little bit, like, oh, well, what did he say? What's going on? But then later, as the time went on, I'm like, I don't even want to know no more. It's all good. It's cool. It's better for me. You ain't throwing nothing in my head. I just see what I see, and then I'll go from there.
So basically, everything that I was told, I seen in that fight. I was told that he wasn't in the gym a lot compared to how he was in the past. I was told you were being underestimated, and I was told that the preparation was very limited. That's what I was told. I'll leave it up to him. When I talk to him, I'll leave it up to him to let him say whether that's true or not. But that's what I was told. But based off of how the fight went and how the result was, it's kind of hard to deny that. And you guys fought like you guys fought like you were the ones that was 6-0 with 5 knockouts.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't even know all that. But by looking at him, seeing his tape, that was the first thing I noticed. That's the first thing I noticed. I said, this dude, he ain't been training like he trained for his last fight. There's no damn way. He don't look nothing like that.
He looked nothing like it.
We're just gonna take him in the deep waters and deal with him in the deep waters. That's exactly what the plan was. We weren't gonna go out there and get all careless and stuff while he still had, stuff in his tank. We was gonna play like that video game when you get that person down to the end, they have no energy.
Right. That's exactly how it was.
Exactly what the game plan was. Tree listened to it. The good thing was we didn't have people yelling for Tree like when he like fights at home around people he knows. You got all these guys that yelling, thinking they know what they're doing. He
Mhm.
heard everything I was saying. If you watch some of that video and listen, you can hear him yelling stuff, and he's
Yeah, I
doing
can hear you.
ortho. He goes to ortho, pop, 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 pop. Move, grab him. Everything I told him, even in between rounds, I told him he did it every single time. But the one time,
Yeah.
all that bullshit. It was like this, man. I was yelling so loud. It was the comment, not the commentator, the announcer was next to me. And I go, sorry about that. Sorry for yelling in the ear. He goes, no, keep doing it. He goes, I love it. He goes, your boxer's doing exactly what you're telling him to do. Keep yelling
Yeah,
like that. So I
that
was like,
was
cool.
yeah, that was that, to be honest with you, and this, I'm not just saying that because saying this because I'm cool with y'all, but that was about as close to a masterpiece as you gonna get. Especially coming from somebody that the cards are stacked against you going into the fight. Bunch of drama, bunch of, just some people like to call it gamesmanship. I call it corny. That shit is corny. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you're the better fighter and you're the better man, like, it shouldn't be no issues with hotels and fire alarms and all this and all that. It's
Back,
just, it's just I don't respect that. I'm like, you going into a fight, if you better than the other man, I'm like, you don't stack the cards up against the other man. You go in there and you go handle business. Like, I'm like, y'all did that and didn't get a good night's sleep. I can only imagine what was going to happen if y'all had a good night's sleep. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it would have been. It would have been insane. Yes. It is what it is. It happened, and we did it.
It is what it is. Yep.
Yeah. So listen, it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you two. Before, you know what, before we sign off, man, Coach, tell the people how your amateur show went and how proud you were to put that on, because I know what you had to go through to get to that point.
The amateur show I had, it was great, man. We had probably over 500 people there. I mean, it was huge, and it was huge for everything for me and my team. Like the people who helped me run the show got thrown at us at the last second. I
Hmm.
thought we did pretty well, with the screening, having everyone signing papers, taking their temperatures. I thought
Right.
we did pretty well for 500 people at the last minute telling us we had to do this. So I thought everything went well. We had a little mix up with some guys being dumb, trying to slide through the back door, letting people in, shit like that. But that's going to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta know next time I'm gonna have security guards at these doors so that stuff don't happen. But other than
Right.
that, fights were good. Every fight was action packed. It was a great show. Everyone
Yeah.
came out. We had 17 local boxers fight that day on a 23 out card.
Nice.
All
Nice.
action packed.
I was listen. When that happened, I was extremely proud of what you accomplished, because again, I talked to you, and it didn't happen yet. I talked to you in the past, and that was something that you wanted to do. COVID got in the way. A lot of different things got in your way. So to see something be spoken into existence is a beautiful thing. And then with Tree, I spoke to Tree when Tree couldn't get no fight. Phone wasn't ringing, people turning down fights. It got to a point to where you had to take footage off of social media just for people to give you a look. So to see you actually get a fight, get a victory, get an impressive knockout, like against a guy that's 6-0 with 5 knockouts, it was great to see you um get the opportunity and for you to cash in, because a lot of people get opportunities, they don't cash in though. So the fact that both of you guys were able to cash in is a beautiful thing. So congratulations to both of you guys. But it was an absolute pleasure talking to you guys. Coach, give them your social media before we get up out of here, Coach.
Um, Pepe Pena on Facebook. You can follow the club also, Opinions by Des Moines. Um, Dude, I don't even get on Instagram then, but I can't remember on the Instagram tag. It's like Opinions or something like that.
It is.
That I keep Man, I keep forgetting about that Instagram, man. I do. Them only my two. Them the two I have. Pretty much. I
Okay.
don't do Twitter that much, so I don't have on that. But mainly Facebook and Instagram. But yeah.
Okay. And Tree, give me your social media, player.
All right, we got Tree James. That's my Facebook. We got Tristan the Toot Tree James. That's gonna be my actual fan page. Then you can go to KRIA. That's lowercase underscore 515. That's the King of Iowa 515. Boy, you already know what's popping. We out heard.
Absolutely, absolutely. These are my guys here, man. Thank you so much, Tree, for doing an interview. Coach Pepe, congratulations to you, and thank you for taking time out of your schedule. Come rock with me. And of course, you know this is not a one-time thing. You're gonna see these guys all the time. Once the fight is set up for August or September, whenever it is, you're gonna see these guys back on the channel talking they shit, you know, before they head to South Carolina and put some hands on somebody. So again, thank you guys on behalf of Tree James, Coach Pepe Pena, and G5JeffTv. We are out. Thank you, fellas.